Once upon a not-so-wonderful time, in the very young country of the United States of America, the Civil Rights Act of 1875 was passed. This piece of legislation outlawed segregation and stated that all persons shall be entitled to the full and equal enjoyments of the accommodations of inns, public conveyances on land or water, theaters, and other places of public amusement. While it seemed that this law was just and fair, in 1883 a Supreme Court made up of all white men overturned this legislation and stated that it was unconstitutional. The case of Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896, Homer Plessy purchased a white-only ticket on a railroad car and was escorted off the train and arrested when he refused to move to the black-only car. The court ruled that separate but equal did not violate the 14th Amendment. This became a precedent for many laws designed to separate the races known as Jim Crow. Realizing how unfair and unconstitutional the Jim Crow laws were, the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, otherwise known as the NAACP, began a desegregation campaign in the courts. Thurgood Marshall was chosen to lead the group of law students and NAACP lawyers fighting the battles in court. Marshall's great-grandfather was a slave who fought in the Civil War, and his mother was a teacher in an all-black school and one of the first African Americans to graduate from Columbia University Teachers College. With Thurgood Marshall's lineage, it should come as no surprise that he chose to dedicate his life to fighting racism and inequality. On May 17, 1954, what would become one of Marshall's biggest victories was ruled on. Brown v. the Board of Education of Topeka was a case brought forward by Linda Brown's father. Linda was an 8-year-old elementary school student living just 4 blocks from an all-white school. She was forced to attend the all-black elementary school 21 blocks away. In a unanimous vote, the Supreme Court turned down segregation in schooling and deemed it unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment. Chief Justice Earl Warren stated, "In the field of public education, the doctrine of separate but equal has no place." This decision affected over 12 million school kids in 21 states. The next year, on a chilly December day, an officer of the NAACP boarded a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, and sat in the colored section. After a long and tiring day of working as a seamstress, Rosa Parks was relieved to be off her feet and on her way home. As the bus filled with more white passengers, the driver instructed Miss Parks and 3 other African Americans to give up their seats so that a white passenger could sit and not have to be next to colored people. When Parks refused to stand, the driver threatened to call the police. Rosa Parks simply replied, "You may do so," and with her arrest, Rosa Parks made a stand by sitting down. Rosa Parks's brave actions led to the development of the Montgomery Improvement Association, created to organize a boycott of the Montgomery buses. The association elected the young pastor of a Baptist church to lead the group. His name was Martin Luther King, Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. received his Ph.D. in theology from Boston University and referred to his non-violent stance as soul force. To the white racists he faced, he stated, "We will not hate you, but we cannot obey your unjust laws. We will soon wear you down by our capacity to suffer, and in winning our freedom, we will so appeal to your heart and conscience that we will win you in the process." In 1956, the Supreme Court outlawed bus segregation. After the victory of the bus boycott, Dr. King worked with other ministers and civil rights leaders to found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, otherwise known as the SCLC. The purpose was to carry on nonviolent crusades against the evils of second-class citizenship. The SCLC was the start of a grassroots campaign that organized many effective and nonviolent protests, sparking steady momentum for several victories for the civil rights movement.